and business partners with assistant coach Tommy Mascari. And any chance I have to support a Christ-centered education for today's youth, I take advantage of that opportunity and support in any way I can with my time, effort, volunteering, funds, and commercials like these.
Together we soar.
Garin Catholic Sports on IndianaSRN,
where you're always in the game.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Covenant Christian High School and Boys High School basketball. Tonight, it's the Cougars of Greenwood Christian Academy. They come in at 2-2 on the season, and the Warriors of Covenant Christian at 3-0 on the year. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by the Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. By Burtner Electric, your licensed and experienced electrician serving Central Indiana. By IUPUI, a lifetime of sports with a winning degree. Also by PRV 3 Services 1 Logistical Solution, and by Reynolds Equipment, your hometown farm equipment dealer. Troy Dargowski along with Craig Cox. Great to be with you here tonight as we bring you Thursday night high school basketball. And we have one team that's undefeated coming in at 3-0 on the season. The Greenwood Christian Cougars coming in at 2-2, but they've won their last two. And Craig, no doubt about it, we got a good one here tonight, promising to be a great matchup. A team that's won their last two, including a win at Victory College Prep. And we'll talk more about this Greenwood Christian team coming up in a couple of moments, but it's good to be back for high school basketball tonight.
No, absolutely. And both these teams, along with all across the state, have now got a few games under their belt in a position where they're trying to work out some of their kinks, really getting in a position where they're understanding their identities. We got two really good, strong, solid programs here. Obviously, the Cougars coming in with a new era, so to speak, with Coach Jackson Williams coming in with his first year. And you got 2 years in a row where you've lost some of the McCorkle names. Still got him in the coaching program with them, but they're a solid team. They're looking at positions and trying to really break you down in terms of the fundamentals and thinking about offensively in terms of your spacing, your ball movement, and player movement. On the other side, obviously got a veteran coach and Coach Flatt, who's in his 17th season, really embarking upon what is probably expected to get to his 200th win, obviously here this year, and a solid program with some good senior leadership, and Brock Buckley and Tony Flatt being an underclassman, and you got Tyndall as well, and so Fulbright, and so really looking for an exciting game tonight, and it'll be interesting to see how the Cougars can deal with some of the pressure that's probably anticipated on the defensive side from Covenant.
Well, we have seen Covenant Christian, as you'd mentioned, several times this year. This is really my first look, and I don't know, it probably is yours as well, of Greenwood Christian Academy, as you'd mentioned, under Jackson Williams, their new head coach. Only two seniors on this ball club, and they have a couple of players that are returning that are juniors that are probably their go-to guys in Ian Reed and Blake Shoemaker, but we really don't know much about them, what kind of changes they'll bring from what they've had before and the style of basketball they'll play.
Yeah, and they're coming off. You mentioned it too. They've won their last two, and one of those being against a very quality program, especially over the last 3 or 4 years with Coach Lafferman at University. And so, what a great win! Won that one by 4. But being with a younger group, that's great. You have them around for a couple, 2-3 years. Great areas to be able to develop and grow. While you hope your 2 seniors can give them kind of a lend down and some legacy gifts, if you will, to some of the underclassmen.
Well, one thing we'll talk more about Greenwood Christian, the Cougars coming in again at 2-2. When we come back following this timeout, we'll talk more about the Covenant Christian Warriors at 3-0. This is high school basketball on IndianaSRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Back here at Covenant Christian High School, Andrew Smith Court, thanks for being with us here this evening as we get set for this matchup between the Cougars and the Warriors. I want to finish out a little bit on Greenwood Christian. They just knocked off Victory College Prep by a final of 70-50. Max Boer led the way with 16. Blake Shoemaker had 13. They had 4 players in double figures in that win. But previous to that, they go on the road. They beat Victory College Prep by a final of 70-50. They beat University 61-57 in that University win. Blake Shoemaker, 17 points and 7 rebounds, and Matt Tyke had 16 points. Boer had 15. So they got a team really that has good balanced scoring in their lineup.
No, and you're always looking at for complementary basketball, not only from a standpoint of as we know it from offense to defense, but when you can get a good supporting cast, especially when we're talking about in a position where you only have a couple seniors, you need that. You need the balanced scoring night in and night out. We understand that there's going to be guys, especially your top scorers, will be keyed upon quite a bit, and there's going to be some off night, and you're only going to be as good as that supporting cast or even the bench that you have.
Well, you look at Covenant Christian 3-0. They beat Traders Point, Covington, and their last win, a nice win on the road at Cecina. Brock Buckley, one of the guys that you're going to watch here tonight. Talk a little bit about the Warriors.
Well, I mean, obviously it's led by him. He's a senior. He's got a great frame, 6'4", about 200 pounds. Played football this year for the first time, coming through that and back in probably what's been more of his comfort zone in years past. Great quality leader. Got Jack Fulbright and Tony Flats, one that just gives some really good court leadership, and you would expect that out of a coach's son. Has kind of been a little bit more in some had a couple games so far where he's experienced some early foul trouble, so that'll be a key tonight is his availability to be able to stay on the floor to provide that court leadership. Coach Flatt's always going to be one that's in a position where he's trying to really put a lot of defensive pressure on you, whether that be full court or in the half court game, really looking at the ball pressure. It's been a little bit more uncharacteristic of a Covenant Christian program in terms of the amount of turnovers. It's early on in the year, so you expect some of those, and they'll get worked out. Right now they're coming in the game averaging about 18 turnovers, which is a little bit typically higher than Coach Flatt's teams that he's had in the past. But again, it's early, and they'll work that out.
And they average over 31 rebounds per game, so when the shot goes up, they go get it.
Yeah, they are, and they're a team, too, that, don't be fooled, from a standpoint of the pace, because they will look to press, or push the ball along with the pressure and trying to use some of their athleticism and extend you defensively.
Let's talk about keys to this one. What kind of ball game do you anticipate tonight?
Well, I think one is going to be, I think it's going to be really key for the Cougars on how their ability to be able to handle the ball pressure. whether that be in a full court press or just in the half court game. I think it's going to be key for them to have really good ball movement and really move the defenders of Covenant. I think Covenant's going to be in a place where they want to get up in you, try to force some turnovers, and they're going to look to push the pace again, and they like the score to be in the 60 pluses.
Well, one team's won 2 straight. The other team is 3-0. Something will give tonight. Scott Flatt in his 17th year. He's closing in on 200 wins, as Coach had mentioned a little bit ago. Jackson Williams 2-2 in his first year as the head coach for the Cougars. This, by the way, tonight is the 3rd road game of the season for the Cougars this season, and for Covenant Christian listed as their first home game of this year. We will take a timeout. Coming up, the tip-off, and this one will get underway within moments. This is high school basketball on IndianaSRN.
What's the number one misconception you think about Freemasonry?
Well, I think most people just think of Freemasonry as some kind of secret society, and you go with some of the rumors out there and so on, and they really don't understand who we are. They don't understand that we are a fraternity of brothers first, and our obligation is to take care of each other and our widows and orphans, etc. within our group. They don't understand what the fraternity part of Freemasonry really is, and that's the misconception that's out there. I think first and foremost of anyone that wants to join Freemasonry, I'd like them to know that it's really not a secret society. You may say it's a society with a secret because we have some handshakes and some passwords that you could easily find down in a library if you get the right book. Freemasonry is more, it's a brotherhood, it's a fraternity, it's a way of sharing common thoughts and everything with people of all different vocations that really understand of getting together on the level. Whether you're a judge or a police officer or a janitor, you're all on the same level when you're in a Masonic lodge room. And I think that's one of the greatest things, that you can sit with people of all vocations, but you have that certain thing in common, that you're all brothers.
You want a career that fuels your passion for sports and physical activity. IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences offers that and more. You'll have insider access to sports, fitness, and exercise science professionals and learn from faculty with years of industry experience. And with Indy as your classroom, you'll study next to world-class sports facilities, Olympic governing bodies, the NCAA, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sports industry career. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Welcome back again to Covenant Christian High School. The Cougars of Greenwood Christian again at 2-2. The Covenant Christian Warriors at 3-0. Here's that Greenwood Christian got here. They open up in a loss to Greenwood in their first game of the season. They lose at 39-36. They lose to Park Tudor 74-64. Two very tough teams to open up with. They come back. They beat University 61-57 and fresh over Victory College Prep 70-50. We mentioned Max Board scored 13 in the win there. On the other side, the Covenant Christian Warriors opened up with a win. In fact, they beat Traders Point Christian 57-42. Covington, they win that one 58-54, and then they go to Cecina and beat Cecina 55-45 in that win as well. I don't know if this is really, I don't want to call this any kind of a signature game, but I think it is a really good rivalry between these two teams. You want to get the upper hand and maybe get things rolling if you're certainly Greenwood Christian keep things rolling, get your third win in a row, and the other side just keep things going as normal.
No, it is, and it starts first and foremost, even beyond athletics. Both these schools share very like missions in being both faith-based. There are also two schools that have been pretty rich in terms of basketball traditions. I think, too, the other thing, there's a lot of parallels in terms of how these two teams, programmatically speaking. Obviously, as we mentioned at the top of the hour, Coach Williams is in his first year, so some things will come to fruition there. But it's been very steady with Coach Flatt and his program, and just looking for a very exciting contest and one that should really has the billing to be a very competitive game.
By the way, I want to remind you this broadcast is copyrighted by the IndianaSRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. The use of pictures, videos, and audio without the expressed written permission of the IHSAA is prohibited. Covenant Christian, the Warriors in their white. On the other side, the Cougars of Greenwood Christian in their dark uniforms, and we are ready to get this one underway. In the middle tonight, it'll be Matt Tyke, number 33, the 6'4 senior, jumping it up against Brock Buckley, number 23, a 6'4 senior. And this game is now underway. So it will be Covenant Christian basketball to open things up. Tony Flatt will be the point guard, the junior 6-footer. And he will get things started here today. And you already see Greenwood Christian Academy opening up a little 2-3 zone. Covenant Christian, good ball movement, a really team that takes care of the basketball. We've seen that through their first 3 games of the year, and you got to be patient against the zone early.
No, you do. I mean, obviously, again, regardless of what you're faced with, ball movement is going to be a lot of this. Obviously, ways to beat zone is through ball movements, getting some pin screens, getting ball reversals, shifting the defense, and then obviously looking to attack some of these gaps.
By the way, Christian Flowers back in the lineup here for Covenant Christian as we have our first foul of the ball game. He's averaging 16 points per game. And looks like Ian Reed will pick up the foul. That's our first foul of the ball game. Reed averaging 13.1 points per ball game. And again, he picks up number 1. So we'll stay with Covenant Christian. We're just underway here at Covenant Christian High School. Both teams on 2- and 3-game winning streaks. Tony Flatt at the top against that zone. That is Flowers at the right wing. And, of course, Buckley's a guy. He'll take it out and shoot it from 3, so you got to make sure you're on him. In the corner, 3-pointers off the mark, and the offensive rebound by Crane, who's averaging nearly 9 rebounds per ball game. Here's a 3 by Fulbright, no good. And the offensive rebound, no, by Flatt. He can't get it to go, and we'll head the other way.
Well, and, you get those type of bunnies and being uncontested. You got to obviously convert those. And then, you get a silly foul being 85 feet from the basket. One you certainly can't have, but we'll see what Covenant throws at them. And they're, as anticipated, a little bit of full court pressure here.
Yeah, by the way, Buckley picks up his first and the first team foul on Covenant Christian. As we head back the other way, ball loose on the sideline. Buckley comes up with a takeaway. First turnover for Greenwood Christian as Flatt will bring it across the timeline. At the top, here's a 3 on the way. No good as Buckley can't get it to go. And the rebound for the Cougars, and they'll quickly push it up the floor. That's Shoemaker across the timeline.
And seeing the zone here by the Covenant Christian as well, out in a 2-3 also.
That is, by the way, number 23 is Boer. Leads the team in scoring. Here's his first shot on the way. That's way short. Rebounded. Here is Buckley back the other way. Out of control down the lane. A lot of contact. No whistle.
Well, you'd like to see him be able to play through some of that early as well.
Here's a drive down the lane. The kick out. You saw Ian Reed once again there for Greenwood Christian. And here's Boer. 3 from the left elbow. That is up. It is good. And our first 3-pointer, Shoemaker, gets on the board. And Greenwood Christian leads this one 3-0.
Well, that's what you want, too. I mean, you're getting in a position where you're being able to shift the ball and attack and make the next line of defense guard you with a little kick out and setting your feet and being ready to shoot.
Buckley drives in the lane. Little short jumper. Good there. Buckley on the board. averaging 17 points and 6 rebounds per ball game, gets his first 2, and you see the pressure again put on by Covenant Christian. The 3 back the other way is no good by Boer. Offensive rebound pulled down by Sloan. Here's a 3 straight away, and it is good as well.
Great job setting his feet, being ready to shoot. And that's how you have to beat a zone, being able to spread some things out, which is going to open up a lot of the post play.
So it's a 6-2 ball game. Greenwood Christian on top, 3 back the other way. That'll be Christian Flowers. Flowers averaging 16 a ball game. He's played in just 2 of the 3 games. And it's back to a 1-point lead here for Greenwood Christian. Aiden Sloan with the basketball. Now to Boer. They'll dump it deep in the left corner as Tyke gets it back into the hands of Boer. See right now, Covenant Christian stays man-to-man, as will go right wing. As Reed gives it up on the wing, Sloan, high post. Tyke back out, good ball movement around the perimeter, and there's a 3 by Boer.
Yeah, again, shooting it early will try to pull you out on the zone or being able to put you in a position where you're matching up more. They've actually hit 3 from beyond the arc already.
So Covenant Christian down by 4 here with 3:45 to go in the opening period. Here's Flowers on the right wing. Buckley starts to penetrate, gets cut off there by Reed. Flowers on the drive, shot off the glass, no good, and we've got a foul. That's going to be an easy call there against Tony Flatt. He picks up his first.
Well, and you know, the Cougars have done a great job early on in this game, really sending a message as we look at this here with Boer second, and pretty long range at that, to where that'll extend your defense right away, but they've really shown right away that they're letting it go and really having success with it will really open some things up in the post game, as we mentioned earlier.
I was watching Coach Flatt, his reaction after that last 3, and he's going to make a change, try to get somebody out there to guard on the perimeter.
Well, and you see, too, they've already kind of came out of that a little bit more and showing some more presence, as it will look like get a turnover here.
Yeah, ball thrown into the backcourt. That'll be the second turnover now by the Cougars. But they still hold on to a 9-5 lead. And the good news, if you are a Warriors fan, not only do you get the ball back, you get it underneath your own basket. That'll be Flat to inbound here for the Warriors. In the corner to Flowers for 3. That's no good. He is cold early. And the rebound by Shoemaker, and he'll quickly push it up the floor and get Greenwood Christian back into their half-court offense. Good ball movement out front now as Sloan will drive, and we've got a foul call. And that's going to go against Flatt. He quickly now picks up his second.
Yeah, and as we mentioned in the pregame show, that's been a little bit of his problem early on here in the season, where he's really gotten some first half foul troubles in 2, if not 3 of their 4 games. And so they're in a position now where he's got 2 again as Covenant's looking in transition here.
Davis into the ball game now for Covenant Christian following the turnover. Nice offensive board by Flowers, and he's going to get pushed from behind. I think Boer picks up the foul there. So 3 turnovers now for the Cougars. We'll see a change here. I'd mentioned a little bit ago, Jake Davis, a 6-foot junior, into the ball game for the Warriors. And Greenwood Christian will make a change. Noah Reed, who's just a freshman, he played well in their previous win. And so he's getting some early time.
Yeah, and what a great opportunity, too, not only for him, but also for the coach to understand this young man's got 4 years within the program and getting some quality time here early.
Flowers will back it up near midcourt, and that's where the Warriors will reset their offense. You continue to see Greenwood Christian stay in that 2-3 zone, and they're really packing it in, aren't they?
They are, and you know, the tough thing is when you're faced with a zone, there's just a lot of what we call trimming the edge, to where you're just dribbling and passing around the perimeter and not getting deep or getting south as we want to kind of puncture the defense and make the next guy guard you to pinch 2 and be able to get kicks. It's just, as you can see, everything's just around the perimeter.
Yeah, and if you don't hit the outside shot, there's a travel. If you don't hit that outside shot, too, they're just going to stay right there.
Yeah, they haven't forced the hand yet. On the flip side, Greenwood has shown some great shooting here early on, and Covenant has struggled to this point. So they're really going to have to get some penetration and then look to get some kicks off this zone.
First turnover by the Warriors, so it'll be Greenwood Christian basketball. as we've hit the 2-minute mark. Nice drive and the layup good. That'll be Aiden Sloan getting his first 2.
Yeah, and first interior pass that we've kind of seen in the post, and certainly first points in the paint that we've seen outside the 3 threes by the Cougars.
Here's Davis off the left wing as Covenant down by 6 here in the opening period of play. Davis drew the double team there and the work it around the perimeter as the Warriors just right now can't find a good look.
Well, and the Cougars are doing a really good job of recovering in terms of the help, but they're having immediate presence, which is really kind of shut down. But this is where Covenant's really got to get downhill on that inside hip and attack their defender with a score here.
Well, you had Flowers, now has 5. The 6'2 senior leading the Warriors in scoring. It's back to a 4-point ball game as we'll head back the other way. Greenwood Christian back with the basketball as they'll work it to the outside. Here's a 3 on the way. That's off the mark as Ian Reed can't get it to go. The rebound heading back the other way is Andrew Crane. He'll drive with the left hand short, and another shot missed. Point blank range right there as we head the other way, and a 3 is no good the other way.
They haven't seen too many shots outside. They haven't liked it because they're letting it go.
Here's Davis on the baseline. Wyatt Wash is coming to the ball game wearing number 11 now for Covenant Christian. Here's Buckley at the top of the key, and they remain cold early. Back the other way is Greenwood Christian running the floor. They'll regain possession as that ball nearly goes out of bounds. Skip pass will find Ian Reed, and he turns it over. 4th turnover now by Greenwood Christian. Here's Buckley from 17 off the back of the iron, but a whistle and a foul.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, the situation down at the other end here with Greenwood, Tyke had a great position on his guy on the post, kind of missed him, chose to go on the skip pass. But the thing that you really want to be able to see in terms of Covenant, again, we talked about really kind of trimming the edge and doing what they're doing just around the arc. But the other thing that they're really going to need to do is having guys off the ball, being able to look to attack these gaps without the ball in terms of their flashes, whether it's coming up getting pin screens or ball screens to get some other action that you're hoping to get to try to get some more things on the inside, as the outside game just hasn't gone to their liking at this point.
Buckley hits both. He has 4. He's going to get a break. He'll step out of the lineup for a couple of moments as we'll go with Grant Winters, a 6'1 senior, number 35 now for the Warriors. Final 10 seconds. Greenwood should be playing for the final shot here in the opening period of play. You see now the man-to-man defense put on by the Warriors. Ball goes out of bounds, and they will say it was last touched by Covenant Christian, but that's going to end the opening period of play. After 1, Greenwood 11, Covenant 9. This is high school basketball on IndianaSRN.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Because land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a deer. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Back here at Covenant Christian High School, a reminder to become an IHSAA official. Contact the IHSAA office. Get involved with men and women behind the stripes. It's a great way to stay in shape and make some extra money. Make sure you're part of the game by contacting the IHSAA, IHSAA.org/officials. All right, they're cold early, and you would expect the Warriors going to pick that up a little bit once they figure out some things on that zone, but they really just didn't shoot well early.
No, they didn't, and like you said, Troy, you don't expect a Covenant team for that to last, or for most teams. And so if they understand that the worst part's behind them, the best is yet to come. And so look for that to improve, and I look for things to change in terms of their offensive movement in the half-court game.
By the way, Flowers with 5, Buckley with 4. Turnover. That'll be number 5 now for the Cougars. Seem to get a look here. Here's a three from the elbow. No good by Winters. They battle for the rebound, and a traveling call against Noah Reed, and that'll be 6 turnovers.
Well, it's one you got to take care of the ball, and certainly with the situation like that where, you're getting one, it's different if you're in transition or in the half-court game, but when you're getting rebounds and doing it when you're that far from the basket, you're never just giving yourself a chance and giving it to your opponent right underneath their basket.
So, by the way, 2 fouls still on Tony Flatt. He is out of the ball game. Flowers misses. Davis with a rebound. Quick entry, drive, and the bucket good. That'll be Wyatt Wash getting his first 2.
Great job attacking the basket here, and that's the ones that they need. Give them some mid-range, short game in the paint and work your way out.
How about Boer splits the double team. The offensive rebound put back no good as Tyke can't get it to go. And Covenant a chance to take the lead. This is Flowers. Off now to Winters. Winters will control it out front. Again, this Covenant team going to its bench because of foul trouble. And by the way, still out of the ball game right now is Brock Buckley.
In position 2 where they've obviously transitioned to a man, and you're still not just seeing the type of attack, the downhill attack, just very perimeter based. As soon as we say that, start to get one, but really would like to see them, more challenge their defender, look to attack that high hip to make the guys defend or to draw 2 to get either any kicks or finishing at the basket.
Greenwood Christian will come back with Ian Reed. The foul, by the way, was called on Noah Reed, so he's picked up 2. Off the entry in the corner, Flowers for 3. No, as he remains cold.
Great box out here and getting good positioning to get this break started. Good high-low game.
Yeah, good ball movement again by Greenwood Christian Academy. As they work it to the near sideline as Shoemaker, the 6'3 junior, had nothing there, brings it back out. Boer drives baseline, gets cut off by Winters. Here's the drive, a little floater, and that shot's no good by Noah Reed. We'll head the other way. Here's Flowers.
Yeah, you got a situation now where Greenwood's gone a little cold, certainly from the perimeter as well.
Flowers stops in the circle. It'll be Davis. Tied at 11 here in the second period. Yeah, still nothing toward the basket, hardly. Here's Flowers. Davis once again at the top. Back to Flowers. Flowers will put it on the floor, draws the double team. Kick out. The 3 is no good by Wyatt Wash. And Greenwood Christian Academy with a rebound, and they'll get it down the floor. Around the perimeter, left side now to Shoemaker. He'll put it on the floor with the right hand. Contact in the lane, able to score. No whistle there. And Shoemaker now has 5.
Yeah, good take. Nice soft touch. Did a good job of trying to, cushion a little bit of that blow, which made it a little easier on the official not to make that call.
Here's Flowers out front. 13-11, 2-point lead now for Greenwood Christian. Here's Crane on the drive. Crane, by the way, averaging nearly 9 rebounds per game, and he's only 6'1". That is Crane out on the high post. Now puts it on the floor in the lane. He will find Winters. Wide open jumper, good from 3, and Winters on the board.
No, and great job there by Crane of getting deep into the paint to where he's in a position where he's drawing multiple defenders and getting the kick.
So Greenwood now trailing it by 1 here in the opening period of play. Ball goes out of bounds, deflected there by Winters, and here's a look at that open 3. Defender just a little bit too late. Good follow through, and there's your bucket. 4:39 remaining. Boer with a basketball. Shot fake, tries to draw the contact. That one hard off the glass. And the rebound, Buckley is back in the ball game now for Covenant Christian.
And the Cougars have done a good job to this point, too, as well, and being in a position where they've had good defensive transition as we get a steal here.
Now Boer back the other way. Tough shot, layup good by Boer.
But, yeah, they've done a good job of really retreating defensively to really, Covenant's historically been a team that likes transition as well, and the Cougars are doing a good job in closing a lot of that down.
Buckley drives, contact, bucket good by Buckley. And that's what they're used to seeing from Brock Buckley.
Yeah, it's good frame, 6'4" kid that's pretty strong. Good job finishing at the basket beyond the contact.
Back to a 1-point lead now for Covenant Christian. We've gone back and forth after Greenwood got the early lead. That shot no good, is off the mark.
It's certainly good action. Good action there, getting it high post. Good shot as we got Flowers getting another 2 here in transition.
Yeah, Flowers now with 7 and the biggest lead of the ball game for Covenant at 3. As we head the other way, floater missed by Shoemaker, and they have gone really cold. Here's Buckley as he will find Winters, who will dump it off to Flowers. Back once again to Buckley. Off the left wing, shot fake drive off the glass with the right hand by Fulbright, who's been quiet tonight. And we have, I believe, a timeout. We, too, will take a timeout. You're watching high school basketball. Well, we're going to keep it here. It's a 30-second timeout. So we're going to keep it right here and remind you, today's game brought to you in part by the Morales Group. We can match you with the right career or hire the right candidate for you and your company. And they do much more than that. Let them help you today by contacting the Morales Group at 317-472-7600. Much like what we saw with Covenant, Greenwood is now all of a sudden offensively had great flow early, and now they just can't seem to find the mark.
Yeah, and Covenant has been able to find not only mark outside perimeter. We talked about how they struggled really early on. They found a little bit of that rhythm, but in addition to that, they found some balance with getting a little bit of transition points as well, which has been a big key for them in years past.
So following the timeout, it'll be Greenwood Christian basketball with just over 3 minutes remaining now here in the second period of play. Ian Reed will bring it up the floor across the timeline. His backcourt mate, Boer. That is Noah Reed. And back to Boer on the right wing. Shoemaker. Good defense here and good patience by the Warriors on the defensive end as Flowers guarding out front against Ian Reed. Here's Boer on the drive with the left hand, tried to get the defender in the air. He didn't bite. And they'll go back to Ian Reed. It'll be Boer coming out to receive it. Misses the shot, a lot of contact underneath, and coming away with it will be the Warriors.
They almost got that rebound sitting down.
Here's a three-pointer on the way, no good by Wash. So one and done that time for Covenant Christian, and now it's becoming a low-scoring opening half of play. And now we have some water on the floor, so we'll have to mop that up before we continue.
Yeah, it's, again, what Greenwood was doing so well at the beginning, they've still continued to shoot from outside, been a little struggle. So when you get in those ruts or streaks or amount of possessions consecutively, to where you come up short, really got to find other ways to try to get the ball in the basket, whether that's working the inside post. That you haven't really seen them work too much of the low post, only the high post, and getting penetrations from there. So we'll look to see how they find that balance here in the closing minutes of the second quarter.
So it will be Greenwood Christian basketball following the brief timeout. That is Sloan at the top. They'll work it on the left wing now to Ian Reed. That is Boer at the top. They'll keep an eye on him because he's a three-point threat. The shot on the way, good. That'll be Ian Reed hitting the three. And that's his first three-pointer. In fact, his first points of the ball game. That'll tie this one at 18 apiece. Flowers and Buckley out front. Greenwood Christian Academy chasing out of that 2-3 zone. You know, Buckley's used to playing out there. We've seen some of the other games where they didn't pick him up, and he is not afraid to shoot that shot.
No, there hasn't been too many players tonight that has shown too much of that, certainly from the perimeter.
Flowers, nothing there, back to Buckley. They continue to work that ball around the outside of that three-point line, but not much going toward the bucket right at the moment.
Yeah, and hadn't really seen too many ball screens as we get a three here, or even pin screens to get some skip passes.
That was Flowers who hit the three, his second three of the ball game, and there's a traveling call the other way. That'll be turnover number 7 now on the Cougars. Here's a three. By the way, he's from that volleyball line right there. That's a pretty good deep shot by Flowers.
Yeah, we've seen a number of these trays tonight being well beyond the arc. And I'll tell you, that's how the game has evolved quite heavily over the recent years in terms of how much the three ball is playing into high school basketball.
By the way, Flowers averaging 16 per ball game. Buckley was 17, a good 1-2 punch put together by Covenant, who now leads it by 3. Again, they'll work it around the outside of that three-point line as Winters gets it back once again to Flowers. Good look there at Fulbright. He's been kind of quiet tonight, averaging 7 per ball game. There's a turnover and a foul call. That'll be the third turnover now on the Warriors.
Yeah, in the situation there, we've seen it a few times before, but in that case there, much in the same in where the player just picks his dribble up and was indecisive and not knowing where he was going to go with the ball. So you really like to see the players pivot and be in a position where they keep that dribble alive until they understand that they're ready to shoot or pass.
So now Greenwood Christian with the basketball down to our final 40 seconds here in the first half, and they're going to hold it for 1. With the ball out front, Ian Reed along with Boer. That is Boer right there, number 23 at the bottom of your screen. As Covenant will come out and defend, though they're not at the close defending point right now, as you see Flowers just keeping an eye on Reed right there, and the official gives his signal, waiting for the player to move a little bit closer. Have to be within 6 feet or so before you really even make that call. Here's Boer on the drive, and he got hammered big time right there by Flowers, and will go to the line for 2.
Well, and you wonder, too, how much that one was really necessary. Would have been a tough shot to hit over the extended Buckley coming in here where he had some help, and you kind of get a foul. But at the same time, it puts them in a position where they're going to have the last possession now and maybe hoping for 1 of 2.
We had just received word that the head coach for Greenwood Christian, who is Jackson Williams, is sick and watching from home. So hopefully he's going to be okay. Free throw good by Boer. Yeah, that's got to be tough to want to be there with your team, and unfortunately cannot be there tonight. But, boy, they're really playing, other than not shooting very well here in the second quarter, hanging right in there.
Well, and the great thing is networks like IndianaSRN can bring it right home for him to be able to watch it in his own comfort of his home.
Second free throw missed. By the way, that foul was on Flowers. His second. Flowers from midcourt. That one off the mark, and he nearly got it to go from half court. So early on, we saw the Cougars really play very well. It turned around where Covenant Christian came back. They found some areas they could exploit against that zone, but overall a very low-scoring first half at 21-19.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, when we came out the gate, it looked like it was going to be a little bit of the opposite, at least on the Greenwood side, coming out and getting up 9-2. But since then, Covenant outscored them from a standpoint of 19-10. So, I mean, we're in a position where it is low-scoring. We're see what the second half will bring us. I would anticipate that you'll continue to see Greenwood continue to try to find a little bit more balance between what they showed in the early minutes of the first quarter.
Well, unofficially in the first half, Greenwood Christian led by Boer with 9, Shoemaker with 5, 3 points by Ian Reed, and 2 points by Aiden Sloan. And for Covenant Christian in the first half, Christian Flowers with 10, 6 points by Buckley, 3 points by Winters, and 2 by Wash. Flowers has 2 fouls. Tony Flatt has 2 fouls. And on the other side of the ledger, Noah Reed has 2 fouls for the Cougars. Those are the only players in foul trouble at this point. So there you have it, what has been going on here in the first half of play. And certainly you look at the second half, things are wide open. I mean, we can go both ways.
No, and I think it'll be interesting to see the adjustments that both teams make. Again, both of them have had both sides or both ends, if you will, on the shooting, where they didn't shoot it so well with Covenant and then kind of started to find some of their rhythm. The opposite, where Greenwood came out with a little faster start and then kind of settled down quite a bit, where we bring it to the half with a 2-point game. I really look for Covenant to probably apply a little bit more pressure back early on into this three-quarter court, maybe some full-court man, and being able to get in a position I think is going to be a big key potentially for Covenant in terms of how they handle the zone in terms of working the post play a little bit more, whereas Covenant had to come out in a little bit more man a little bit later as Greenwood had some good shooting early on.
All right, we'll take a timeout. Your halftime report continues. It is Covenant Christian on top 21-19. This is high school basketball on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
My name is David Pfeiffer. I'm the athletic director here at Covenant Christian High School. I'm also the boys soccer coach. I've been coaching for the last 5 seasons now, and have stepped into this role of athletic director at the same time. My time here at Covenant has been amazing. I've really enjoyed the atmosphere, the environment that I've been able to be a part of as an administrator as well as a coach. Within our athletic department, we offer 18 varsity level sports. And we also have boys club volleyball as well. You look around the state, there aren't many small schools that offer all those athletic teams, and within each of those teams we have junior varsity teams and maybe even freshman and C teams. So for our student athletes, there are lots of opportunities, regardless of what your level of experience is, to be able to get some playing time and be a part of a team. Looking back over the last few years, when I think of the success that we've seen within our athletic programs, we've had 43 student athletes, alumni, that have carried on their athletic pursuits at the next level, playing anywhere from the NAIA all the way up to Division I NCAA. And so to have that kind of number at a smaller school like this is pretty great testament of the type of student athletes that we're producing from an athletic standpoint as well. You look back too at the success of our overall teams. Over the last 25 years that Covenant has been in existence, we've won nearly 50 sectional titles, at least 10 regional titles, 5 semi-state titles, and then more recently our football team winning the 2020 1A state championship. So it's neat to see our teams being able to compete at the highest of levels and attain those accolades from a team perspective and an individual experience as well. I think what's also unique about being in a smaller school is those options and opportunities to play in multiple sports. As a former high school and collegiate athlete, I had the opportunity to play multiple sports in high school, and the opportunity to build a relationship with different teammates on different teams as well as different coaches is really unique, and I think an awesome opportunity that our student athletes have here at Covenant. Speaking of our coaches, each of our coaching staff have a personal relationship with Jesus, and their heart and their intention is to certainly help you grow as an athlete for sure, but we're also challenging to grow academically in the classroom, but also in their personal relationship with the Lord as well. So I think that's another unique thing about athletics here at Covenant Christian is this opportunity to help us pursue Christ in the midst of our academic and our athletic pursuits at the same time. At Covenant, we certainly want to provide an education-based athletic experience. So we certainly take seriously that our students are first students, right? They're student athletes, not athlete students. So from beginning to end, we want to provide accountability and a charge for you to succeed in the classroom and to be excellent stewards of the time that you have there so that you're setting yourself up well for academics down the road as well. But we also want to compete at the highest of levels, and we want to try to equip and enable each of our student athletes to become the best version of themselves in the classroom and on the athletic contest field. So I think one of the unique things, again, about what we're trying to accomplish is this whole person development, right? We're challenging you to grow in the classroom, we're challenging you to compete at the highest level, and we're challenging you again to grow in your personal relationship with Jesus Christ as well.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks. Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid's solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
My kid heard that solo!
You see my kid?
Yeah!
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
Back at Covenant Christian High School, you see your halftime score 21-19. Great to have you with us for high school basketball. Make sure you check out IndianaSRN.org for all the games we have coming up this weekend. Do want to mention, too, for those of you that love Christmas music, make sure you come to IndianaSRN and you can listen to Christmas music. That goes through the beginning of January. Some of the classics and great Christmas music right here on IndianaSRN. Coach, I'll tell you what, we were talking a little bit off the air about the latest AP poll in high school basketball. IndianaSRN has their poll. Many of the teams are right there where we thought they would be, and wanted to get your thoughts maybe on some of the teams that are playing well right now. Zionsville #1 in the 4A ranks, and Lawrence North, who lost to Lawrence Central last night. But you mentioned C.J. Gunn probably not in their lineup in the 4A ranks. Any really big surprises this early?
Well, it starts with one that you've already mentioned in Zionsville. We knew that Zionsville had a good core of guys coming back, obviously led a lot by Logan Imes, who's got multiple Division I offers out there as a junior. Obviously, we're watching Greenwood Christian tonight. They had Isaiah Davis, who was a Zionsville kid that went to Greenwood Christian last year, came back to Zionsville this year, that really added another punch with Nick Riekert, that's a 6'8" kid as well. And so, I think that we expected good things from him, but coming out the gate and beating Carmel, and then a couple weeks later, they're beating Westfield, and then the next day going on the road to New Albany and winning there. So that's obviously vaulted them up to the #1 in the biggest class in 4A. I think a lot of times the smaller schools don't get talked about, and two that really stand off a lot year in and year out. They're such storied programs. You talk about at the 1A level in Bar Reeve.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a team that plays a lot of 3 and 4A teams and not only competes but wins those games. And then you got a great Linton Stockton team in 2A that took down a good Addicts team in the holiday tournament last week. And so really some solid plays. There's been a little bit of surprise in the 3A with Burbuff, and led by Billy Smith, a Miami, Ohio recruit as well. But a lot is always talked about with the 3 and 4A, and there's some great teams there. Cathedral's kind of, got off to a little slow start, but won 3 here in a row, and then Tech's very much improved. Carmel struggled a little bit coming out as well, but really some great ball being played early here in the season.
Yeah, that Tech team, by the way, so many new players on their ball club. Don't forget to get a roster while you're over there, because they've got a lot of new kids on that team, but they are playing well as well here early in the season. Well, there's one guy, number 2, Tony Flatt, who sat quite a bit in that first half because of foul trouble, and I know they want him on the floor as their point guard.
They do, and I'm sure it's not only at school and in practice, but he's probably getting it home too, Dad being the coach, because we've talked about it a couple times early on in their young 3 games that they've had. He has struggled with that early on in all games, and tonight has been another night. So you're only as good as your availability, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they need him on the floor for some court leadership and some athleticism.
So we'll be coming to Christian basketball, and if you don't think that Coach Flatt was on his son, look back early the ball game when he came out with his second foul and see Coach Flatt's reaction.
Absolutely.
So here we go. That'll be Tony Flatt with the basketball, as you see Greenwood Christian Academy trying to double team out front as Flatt drives, misses, and the rebound put back good by Buckley. He has 8 and a good start for the Warriors here in the third.
No, and it was started, too, by Tony Flatt and his penetration getting downhill into the basket, and Brock did the cleanup.
8 turnovers now by the Cougars. They open up their first possession with a turnover. Flowers deep in the corner. Wisely brings it back out and receives it once again from his teammate Fulbright. That is Flatt straight away. Guarded there at the top by Sloan. Here's Buckley. Starts to penetrate. Nothing there. Flatt receives baseline, drives. Boy, that caroms out to Flowers. 3-pointer, no good. And the rebound by Andrew Crane. Here's the drive by Buckley in the lane. Basket is good, and he's fouled.
Really good start here by Brock, obviously in an and-1 opportunity here. Once again, 2 possessions created at the top of the possession with Tony Flatt and penetration coming through the baseline there and getting the kick out, and ball moved to Buckley for a nice take here and the soft kiss off the glass, if you will, to try to convert this 3-point play.
By the way, Shoemaker picks up the foul. The free throw is no good. So a 6-point lead. That now is the biggest lead of the ball game, and a near turnover as Buckley would at least have made that a 2-on-1 break back the other way. Dangerous pass that time by Greenwood Christian.
Yeah, good job of Brock there, jumping the lane as well. Good anticipation piece. Couldn't quite complete it, but great job of extending the passing lane.
That is Ian Reed who'll walk it across the timeline. Check there by Flowers, a little 1-4 high, and there's another turnover. Buckley anticipates and then dunks at the other end with both hands.
Well, it's a Buckley bonanza, I guess. 3 baskets, and he's got them all.
That shot missed in the corner as Shoemaker can't get it to go, and this lead now starting to balloon here for the Warriors. In the lane, off the glass, good this time. It's going to be Fulbright, who averages 7 points per ball game. He gets his first 2, and it's a 10-point lead.
Yeah, pretty quick. And I was going to say, you might see a timeout, and here it is, we get it. But great job of jumping out, and what you want as a coach to start off a quarter, second half. Great anticipation here by Buckley. 2 possessions in a row he did this, and finishing with the flush.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, when you look at Ian Reed, that was just kind of a lazy pass right there. Really didn't put much into it, and that's 2 in a row he tried to go that way.
No, and yeah, you're right, Troy. I mean, it was a back-to-back possessions and one that was anticipated by Buckley, but it starts again with good, crisp, fundamental passing. And in that case, too, kind of more to the outside hand and not putting it on the floor.
By the way, just to let you know, they now have 9 turnovers unofficially for the Cougars, and 2 straight to open up, or almost 2 straight to open up this third period of play. So they've got to really, speaking of Greenwood Christian, really take care of the basketball here in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's not how you want to start a quarter, especially when the game was so tight and ton of basketball to be played, but what a great start to the third quarter here for the Warriors.
Sloan will inbound. Dangerous pass down in the low post as you see Tyke trying to post up underneath. Can't get the position he wants. Here's the drive baseline short jumper. No good by Sloan. And a rebound as Boer drives in, and he will go to the line. And guess who? Tony Flatt just picked up number 3.
Yeah, you got to realize that. I mean, how early it is in the third quarter. You just sat on the bench for quite some time. You're in a position now to where the guy's coming at you. Not that you want to let him score, but you got to keep your feet. You can't. I mean, you're a kid that's 5'10". You're not going to be blocking a lot of shots. Just make him hit it outstretched hands, and if he does, you move to the other end and you play for the next possession. But you get in the third, and he's probably wondering now, is Dad taking me out?
Well, he's looking that way.
He is. He's probably saying, Dad, no, even though he wouldn't call him Dad now. But
second free throw by Boer. He misses that one. And the rebound, Buckley, and he gets fouled in the backcourt. That'll go against Noah Reed, and I have him for 3.
Well, and it's something you don't want from any player. But he's a freshman, and he'll learn. He's young, he's probably inexperienced, and one that you might expect from coming from a freshman.
So Flowers and Buckley will bring the ball up the floor as they cross the timeline, and that is Tony Flatt. Again, picks up 3, but he's going to stay in the ball game right now as they work against that 2-3 zone.
I'm sure he knows if he gets that 4th, he doesn't even need to look to the sideline. He's just going to start walking.
There's the lob to Buckley. Layup good. Give the assist right there to Tony Flatt. Beautiful play.
Now, a great nonverbal communication there that you have in your point guard and Flatt with Buckley, reading how that zone was really extended high, read him, saw the eyes, and what a great athletic play there by Buckley.
By the way, Boer travels. That is now 10 turnovers on Greenwood Christian Academy. So, by the way, they've only scored a single free throw in the quarter, and that's why you have an 11-point lead here for Covenant.
And you got Buckley, who scored all 8 points for Covenant here in the second.
Here's Buckley. Bounce pass. Got the defender in the air. Ball stripped out of the hands there of Andrew Crane.
Yeah, and that's a position there. A really good job by by Buckley on that pass. Crane's got to do a lot better job of really getting that position where he's chinning the ball and going up strong. The ball shouldn't be able to be knocked out that easy. And he's a pretty good size framed kid.
Flatt was looking back to Buckley. Nothing there. Flowers, and once again it'll be Flatt. Be a little more patient offensively right here.
Really like to see them work a little bit more of the high post where Crane's at now and work some high-low action.
Flatt will drive down the lane. Scoop shot no good. The rebound, and guess who's in there? Andrew Crane. So they'll get another opportunity. We mentioned Crane earlier, averaging nearly 9 rebounds per ball game. In the corner, here's Buckley for 3 off the top of the backboard, and the rebound by Tyke. And then they turned it over, and it's over and back.
Yeah, I went to the spot to be able to save that ball. Just got a little close to, or not too close to the line, but went over the line. But, I mean, you're really going to have the high post exposed quite a bit on perimeter passing against a zone, especially when you have the ball presence in terms of the Cougars jumping out, where the high post is really exposed for them to be able to use. You haven't seen them do that yet.
All right, we have almost made it to the halfway point of the quarter, and again, the Cougars managing just the 1 free throw by Boer until right there, layup good by Tyke, and they get their first basket at 4:07.
Well, and they needed that. Not only you need points, but you need them a little quicker, certainly than trying to get. It's only their first. Well, it is their first basket. They only had 1 free throw before now, so it took them a half quarter to find their first field goal.
So now they're going to put a little press on right here as Covenant able to break it relatively easily. It'll be Flowers who'll set it back outside now to Fulbright. By the way, Fulbright has been kind of quiet tonight.
He has, and he's been one that has usually added some scoring to them. We get Buckley with another field goal here.
Unofficially, Buckley with 16 points tonight and the lead at 11. Greenwood Christian Academy in a hole. They back to really, when you go back to that second quarter where they didn't shoot well and offensively, they've only scored 11 points since that opening period of play. Shot off the front of the rim, no good. Ball put on the floor and stolen away. Buckley back the other way. 3-on-2 break. Buckley, layup good, and he's going to be fouled. That foul will be called against Ian Reed. That is going to be his second, and we go to the line.
Yeah, and good job by Brock there in transition. Had some guys with him. The guy didn't commit until it was too deep, and at that point kind of hit him with the Euro step. And Brock's a kid that's, as we talked about before, good frame, muscle, good strength, and was able to finish beyond the contact here to try to convert the three-point play.
You know, we have seen Brock before as he hits the free throw kind of take games over, doesn't he? I mean, you just kind of know when you can go to him and get the job done.
You can. He's one that's he's a 20-point scorer, and he's one that can hit the outside three, and he's one in transition, but he can also work the post, whether it's low or high post, and so it's a good versatile player and a guy great to have in your program.
Shoemaker picks up the offensive foul. Good position underneath by Andrew Crane to take the charge. Shoemaker picks up his second. And right now, 14-point lead as we come up on the 3-minute mark here in the third as Flat brings it across the timeline.
Well, what's interesting, too, is, you got the Cougars who had 9 points inside the first 2 minutes of the game, and now they're sitting on 22. So really it's gone cold for them, and they'll have to find some balance of being able to find some other ways to score.
Fulbright misses the three, and Greenwood Christian will have the basketball. Only 22 on the board right now as Boer picks up his dribble out front, and that's a 5-second call. He needed some help, and nobody came to get him.
Yeah, and even though that's our first 5-second call of the night, that's a third or fourth time where we've seen a position where the player has picked their dribble up and at a time when they didn't know what they were going to do with the ball. Kind of a common thing that you see on the high school level where you really want to try to hit him with the inside step and then kind of drag dribbling back if you are in a position where you don't know what you're going to do with the ball yet.
That'll be 11 turnovers now by the Cougars. Flowers had 10 points in the first half. He has yet to score here in the second half as Flat will give up the dribble. Here's Fulbright back to Flat. But it's been right now the Brock Buckley show. He'll receive in the low baseline. Buckley in the lane. Not this time as that one off the back of the iron, and the rebound pulled down by Shoemaker. Drive, baseline, left side, good, and this time it'll be Sloan with a bucket.
No, nice pull up there in terms of really, really good decision and hitting a little soft touch there on the baseline.
Couple of players going to the floor, including Tony Flatt, able to get the basketball back as we're down to 1:49 to go here in the third, a 12-point lead. Here's Flowers, the high screen, bypasses it, tries to go behind the back, and then he turns it over and then commits the foul.
Well, and Christian there in that place, he's on the top against the 2-3 zone, got two defenders. At that point, got to really be able to move the ball. It's kind of a little bit of over-dribbling there where he had two guys closing on him. If you feel that type of presence, you've got to be able to move the ball.
By the way, that'll be the third foul on Flowers. He has 3, Flat has 3. They're the two players in foul trouble now for the Warriors. Greenwood Christian Academy basketball, and we have another turnover here. I didn't see what the call was.
Yeah, I didn't either, Troy. I heard the whistle, but didn't see any of the signage to the signal to the score table. But nonetheless, that's Warrior basketball.
Yeah, well, we know it wasn't a foul, so it had to have been a turnover of some kind. But that'll be number 12 now on the Cougars. It was a traveling call. We've got that confirmed. So, again, it'll be Warrior basketball as the Warriors try to move to 4-0 on the season, and right now on a 12-point lead. Back in the ball game will be Wyatt Wash. Here's a 3 by Fulbright, no good. Now take that back, that's Winters. Ball knocked out of bounds, last touched by the Warriors. It'll go back over now to the Cougars. So 1:08 remaining. And so far, the 5 points scored by Greenwood Christian, their lowest output of the 3 quarters so far here tonight. Nice pass inside, turnaround off the glass, good by Tyke.
Yeah, good job there by Matt. I mean, one thing is, good read, good lob pass. One thing you'd like to see, even though the basket went in, as we get a steal here by the Cougars, finishing to the basket as he's jumping away from it.
Boy, they had a player wide open underneath, a little higher pass that time, and The Warriors would have had an easy bucket. That's Boer on the drive, and now they're starting to get things going.
No, and they need that. Still a very manageable game here. This is one in transition again, a foul to where, when you got an active dribbler, you want to be able to not give him so much of a cushion, but you want to be in a position where you're more just kind of guarding your yard, containing, and not trying to right his hip, because 9 out of 10 times you're putting the official in a judgment call, and you're going to lose that battle as a defender.
By the way, Ian Reed picks up the foul. That's his third, as you see the clock beginning to wind down to the end of this third period of play. And it looks like the Warriors will play for one right here. Flat will drive, looks to feed underneath. Dangerous pass was intended there, I believe, for Buckley. Goes out of bounds. It'll stay here.
Well, and it's 1-2 as much as looked like they were holding for the last shot and then trying to make the advance at 13. Don't know if things changed there or if Tony kind of made one of those things that the coach might not so much want at that time.
13.7 remaining. Wash will give it up to Buckley, and once again Flat out front, guarded there by Boer. Who will take the last shot? Flat, back to Buckley, three-pointer, good! And Brock Buckley, what a quarter, as he finishes it out positive for Covenant Christian. We'll take a timeout. We head to the fourth. Covenant on top of this one, 39-28. This is high school basketball in IndianaSRN.
You want a career that fuels your passion for sports and physical activity. IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences offers that and more. You'll have insider access to sports, fitness, and exercise science professionals and learn from faculty with years of industry experience. And with Indy as your classroom, you'll study next to world-class sports facilities, Olympic governing bodies, the NCAA, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sports industry career. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Hey, make sure you catch up on what's going on with the IHSAA Foundation. You can subscribe to their newsletter, The Advocate, by emailing them at ihsaa.foundation.org. And, well, it's the Brock Buckley show, especially in that third quarter. Take a look at this downtown three, 16 in the quarter, 22 for the night.
No, and great execution there in terms of the first one kind of threw the ball away with about 13 seconds to go. Great job of really executing and game clock management, and Buckley sticking that off of Flat's penetration.
Well, now Greenwood Christian, who ended up with 9 in the quarter, trailing this one by 11, so this one's not over yet, but another turnover, and guess who? Buckley again lays it in, and he continues his tear here in the second half.
Yeah, it's like he didn't have enough in getting 16 in a quarter. He wanted to score the first two in the first 5 to 10 seconds.
It's kind of a selfish attitude, isn't it?
Great job of jumping the lane again, which I recall at least having 3 or 4 steals tonight.
Yeah, he has done a great job on both ends of the floor. Back the other way. There's a three-point bucket. Shoemaker.
Yeah, and much needed one there, too, especially when it can be a tray. Still very manageable game. Within 10, a lot of time left here, and that's something that Greenwood Christian's going to have to be able to shoot well from the outside like they did very early on in the game.
Foul's going to be called on 31 Sloan. He was doing a little grabbing there through that screen, so they get him for the foul. By the way, Shoemaker now with 8 points tonight. And it will be Warriors basketball on the inbound. Just about a minute into the fourth period. Flowers will inbound. Buckley. By the way, Tony Flat out of the ball game. He's playing with those 3 fouls. Nice pass inside. Andrew Crane with the layup.
Yeah, great job by Christian Flowers. Head up, really basket vision. Finding the cutter by Crane to get the easy score.
Shot's going to be missed the other way by Shoemaker. Offensive rebound, kick out 3 on the way. That's good by Ian Reed. So Ian Reed now with 6. That's his second three-pointer.
And cut this back down to single digits and back-to-back threes at that, which we saw early on at the start of the game.
Shot in the corner. That's on the way and good as we're trading threes back and forth.
Yeah, it's like I'll answer it.
By the way, that three hit by number 11, Wyatt Wash. In the lane, leaning, shot no good, is unable to get it is Shoemaker, and coming out with it, Flowers. Flowers will stop, looks to give it up, does so in the right corner. And once again, Wyatt Wash thought about the three, gives it back out to Flowers. Shot fake as Wash will feed inside. Little jumper. Nice touch there by Winters.
Yeah, great job. And it initiated what we talked about earlier, is looking at that gap, flashing, making yourself accessible to the ball for the easy score.
Greenwood Christian Academy will take a timeout right here. We're waiting to see if this is going to be a full timeout or not. And we got New England.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
He's been officiating.
Back here at Covenant Christian, 48-34, 14-point lead. Let's take a look. Right here, here's a shot from three. Shoemaker hits that from the right wing.
Yeah, and I mean, again, we talked about earlier how well they shot early on, and now they've gotten two back-to-back threes, if you will. And again, they're going to need that, as they've had a little bit of some mid-range, but again, they've been sitting back with some of the cold shooting, the defense of the Warriors.
All right, it will be Greenwood Christian Academy basketball, and they turn it over. Back the other way, 2-on-1 break. Flowers takes it himself, missed it. Ball tipped up, and there's Buckley again.
I was going to say, guess who, right?
Boy, no kidding. He is having one heck of a night. By the way, 14 turnovers now by the Cougars. Boer cut off on the baseline as Tony Flatt is back in the ball game now for the Warriors. Little floater in the lane, no good there by Ian Reed. We have a battle for the loose basketball. He goes out of bounds. They'll see Flowers the last to touch it for Covenant.
And unofficially now, Buckley with 26.
He is having one heck of a night here tonight. And he's doing everything. That's just it.
Yeah, 20-point half, and you still got 5 minutes to go.
Boer shot fake. Nice crossover to the left hand. Got by Flowers. Shot on the way. Good. And he's going to be fouled and go to the line.
No, really tough move there by Max. Really nice, not only attack, but good body control to be able to pump that and be able to knock that. What is a really tough shot to try to convert the three-point play.
I believe Flowers just picked up number 4. So we go to the free throw line. Boer. Now a chance to make this a 13-point ball game. It's far from being over, but they're going to have to make a run here pretty quick.
Yeah, and they've got to do some things defensively. They've got to be able to create some turnovers with some of their ball pressure.
Buckley able to get away from that pressure. Lead pass got to Wash, and now they'll set it up here to Tony Flatt between the circles as he'll run the offense from there. Fakes the handoff, drives in, layup good. Great job there by Tony Flatt.
No, it was. Really did a great job of simulating a dribble handoff. Read the defense as they were looking to switch and kept it for the layup as you get a basket here again by Tyke.
Yeah, Tyke now has 6 all in the second half. 52-39, press put on once again. That'll be Wash with the basketball, and good job breaking any pressure put together there by the Cougars. This is Buckley back to Flatt. And now they can run a little clock, too, if they choose.
Well, and this plays into the hands of the Warriors, bringing them out, which the Cougars need to play man-to-man at this point. As we have Flatt's shot attempt missed. Looks like it'd be the Cougars' ball. But, yeah, I mean, it's playing into the hands of Covenant. They want to be guarded more man, spread the court, use a little bit. They're probably the more athletic team, if you will. So it spreads it out quite a bit more as we see Flowers here finding Crane on a few possessions ago.
Yeah, Crane, one of those guys you just love to have on your team. And he just does whatever you ask him to do.
I was going to say he's a great utility, a little plug and play.
So back there the way we go, it'll be Cougars basketball. We're halfway through the quarter. That three on the way, good. Nice shot and a tough shot by Reed.
Yeah. And again, this is where they now need to follow it up. Where you get baskets, you got to get stops.
Broken easily. Davis. Layup good at the other end by Winters. Winters with 7.
Yeah, what you can't do is have a 3 at the other end and then give something up quick in transition like that. You're not in a position to be able to trade baskets with under 4 or 5 minutes to go here in the game.
Block shot by Buckley on Boer. The break the other way. Layup good by Flowers. And that's nice transition after a good defensive stop.
Yeah, back-to-back transition points. Again, pushing some pace, which Covenant has been known to find that balance.
14-point lead as we come up on the 3-minute mark. That might have been the dagger right there the last couple of times down the floor for Covenant, able to get points on the board, and a huge stop on that block by Buckley. Boer can't find any room against Davis. And valuable time coming off the clock here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Covenant doing a good job of really creating and having some ball pressure presence, if you will.
Shoemaker missed it. That was good defense that time by Tony Flatt, and that'll be a kick ball. You know, the thing is, you watch Flatt that time, his defense was with his body and his legs. He didn't use his hands at all, and that was really a good job that time.
Well, and again, he probably knows that because, again, like we said earlier, if he gets that fourth, he's probably just immediately walking to the bench. But, yeah, very great point, Troy, and that's what you want. You want kids, as the game evolves, you want to be able to learn what the game is or isn't giving you, as we have a nice lob here out of bounds, but Buckley couldn't quite get it to go down.
Back there the way we go as we're under 2:35 to go in this one. 56-42, and right now Greenwood Christian Academy gets it to Boer, and they've got to work quicker. Boer looking for some movement right here, and there just isn't a whole lot in this offense, as that'll be Sloan with the basketball, the senior.
Yeah, you got to be in a position where you're executing a little bit better offensively down the stretch here, especially when you have the deficit that you have with Buckley making a great little Euro step here move. Couldn't get it to go, but Flowers with the putback.
Yeah, Flowers now in officially with 15 turnovers by the Cougars following that last turnover, and we're under 2 minutes, and it looks like Covenant's going to come out with a win. Ranked number 7 in the latest AP poll, and the shot inside is good by Sloan.
Yeah, good strong move here. Certainly needed some of that a little earlier on, but nice move there by him down low.
Davis can't complete the play right there as he'll be fouled by Tyke. Tyke will pick up just his first, but Davis will go to the free throw line for the first time tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Flatt's going to his bench here, bringing in a couple after this first free throw.
Well, this game changed really in the second quarter when the Cougars kind of went cold. They played very well in that opening period of play as Davis's free throw was good, and then the cold shooting just absolutely continued. You see the three back the other way by Ian Reed.
Yeah, and then, the big part, too, on top of that, Troy, was also about the first minute and a half of the third quarter, the stretch where they went on an 8-0 run and stretched it. It was a one-possession game coming out to start the third quarter, and very quickly it was a 12-point lead.
Yeah, and then Brock Buckley, the way he has played tonight, he's kind of put this team on his back as both free throws are good by Jake Davis, and when you got a senior that plays that well, he is just simply dominated here tonight.
It is. I mean, and if he can find that consistency, this will be a team to really be reckoned with at the 2A level.
This is Boer, baseline, guarded there by Flowers. Good job by Flowers to cut him off on the baseline. Down a minute 20 to go, and right now a 16-point lead. Boer for three, no. Long rebound. It'll go right back to Ian Reed. He'll set it back up now for Greenwood Christian. So the Warriors are going to go to 4-0 on the season. Greenwood Christian will fall to 2-3, and a foul call here. That'll be Grant Alexander, who's entered the ball game now for the Warriors.
Might have got away with a little hook there. But the thing that you saw in that possession, too, is, here's Covenant sitting with a 16-point lead and still doing a really good job, what you'd love to see in a team still continuing to compete. And the nice thing about this is you're talking about your reserve players that are coming in, and they're still carrying what it is that got them there. So many times you see teams get a large lead, and then they get away from what got them there. Warriors are certainly showing that, being up 16 with the reserve players, really playing the passing lanes, really having a good emphasis or presence, if you will, on the ball as well.
By the way, you have the hair team in right now, the best hair, because you not only do you have Grant Alexander in, but you also have John Neighbors, and both those guys have really good hair.
No, and a lot of our listeners out there hearing that word Neighbors, remember him from the football team. Great presence in terms of running back. That was a force there that's also doing it in dual sport way, playing basketball also.
Tyke unable to deliver there, as it'll be Warriors basketball. I'm only saying that because I wish I had their hair. Yeah, not anymore. So we're winding this one down here tonight. Neighbors will unselfishly give it up, I should say, to Grant Alexander, who'll bring it back outside as Paxton Bacon, a 6'2 sophomore in the ball game as well, along with Isaac Niemeyer.
I'll tell you, too, it's interesting, too. You're seeing all these guys, and you love to see it, all the starters, and the guys been getting more of the playing time. They're on the bench, and everybody's jumping up every time somebody touches the ball because they want all these guys to shoot. However, there's different pieces because I think Coach Flatt was telling them to kind of just run the clock out, but kind of mixed messages where the players say shoot, 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 and coaches like saying slow, slow, slow.
Free throw by Niemeyer. He'll get into the scoring column. Well, and that's about respect, too, for the coach. We're not going to run up the score or anything like that. We certainly not going to look to do that here with just 26 seconds remaining. As you see now, Greenwood Christian Academy will empty their bench. Looks like Brett Northern has come in. Also, Jeb Bird, number 32. Number 22 is checked in as well. Satry is in the ball game. Second free throw now by Niemeyer. It is good. And now we're down to our last 23 seconds. Shot on the way. Good. That'll be Brett Northern getting his first two there for the Cougars. And we're down to our final 10. Three ball in the corner is no good. That was Paxton Bacon trying to get into the scoring column. Ball tipped and a turnover. And that will do it. Covenant Christian with the win here tonight, led by Brock Buckley, who had 16 points in that third quarter, 26, I believe, unofficially here tonight, as he leads all scorers, and the Warriors now 4-0. Greenwood Christian now falling to 2-3, and I'll tell you what, give Covenant Christian a lot of credit. Got off to a slow start, but then put things together.
They did, and you expect that with a team that has some good senior leadership with Brock and Fulbright, and then an experienced coach like Coach Flatt and the program that they've had in years past. And so they've continued to do that and continued to show that. So great job. Tough on the Cougars tonight. Obviously playing without their head coach, if you will. Certainly, Coach, if you're listening out there, certainly wish you the best and feeling much better and being back with your boys. And two teams, though, that will continue to get things done throughout this season.
Again, Buckley 26, Flowers with 14, two players in double figures tonight for Covenant Christian. On the other side, Boer had 15, and Ian Reed finished with 9, 8 points by Shoemaker to lead the way for Greenwood Christian Academy. Next up for the Cougars, they will take on Indianapolis Lutheran coming up on Saturday. For Covenant Christian, they get a tough one. They get Brebeuf coming up on Saturday. That'll take place right here at Covenant Christian High School, a tip-off time at 7:30. Thanks to the entire staff. Another great job here tonight on IndianaSRN. Final score, Covenant Christian 62, Greenwood Christian 46. Thanks for being with us. This has been high school basketball on IndianaSRN.
you that some schools may take a stab at it.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, maybe a D3 or NAIA team. So.
Yeah, no kidding. I know I would.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
It went very smooth. Very smooth. I gotta figure a way to get more commercials in. It's just
A little too tight, huh?
I've got 6 out of 8 couldn't play.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So, you know, you get a game like this, and you know they only called 3 timeouts.
I was gonna say that the first half went really quick. I thought.
Yeah, it did.
It wasn't a lot, but yeah, and the times were tight. So Greencastle, what's the feature anymore? Greencastle and South Putt, or who is it? Greencastle.
I've got South Putnam and Greencastle.
Southmont.
Southmont. Okay.
And then
I have South Putnam and Greencastle tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, appreciate it, gentlemen.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.